There was some breaking news yesterday with Steve Witkoff returning from Russia. Now, I have all the faith in the world that President Trump and his team are going to be able to hopefully get as close as one can get to a peace deal. And I don't want to overly black pill. And black pill, to be perfectly honest with you, is a term that the kids use to say it's a little bit of a heavy or depressing take. But I don't get the sense that Russia is running to the table. Russia is winning this war because of how terribly Joe Biden managed this whole calamity. We're in a position right now where Russia is holding the cards and Ukraine is not. And Vladimir Putin knows that. Putin knows that the American appetite to fund Ukraine is nothing, as it should be, by the way. And therefore, Putin's like, well, we have an appetite to keep this war going. You have to remember that the Russian view of war, they have a normalized view of long conflict. It is part of their culture. It's part of their being. A war of attrition is a Russian mode of existence. You raise young men and you send them to the military and they're part of the meat grinder and you do it all over again. It's brutal. It's somewhat medieval. It's impressively patient. And we in the West view every human being made in the image of God. Russians don't really believe that. I mean, some of them are Christians, but they're statists first and foremost. They are loyal to the country. They're loyal to the oligarchy. They're loyal to the idea of the big Russian family, the great Soviet experiment. Less Soviet, but more Russian. And so they just keep on feeding the meat grinder. It's not a strategy based on instant gratification. And so I'm starting to see some things in the press reports that are a little concerning that this thing might end up going on. By the way, you got that longer than we like. Then you got that lunatic Zelensky that doesn't want peace at all. So you got a problem across the board. This is Trump envoy Steve Witkoff saying that his meeting with Vladimir Putin lasted 5 hours. If President Trump is able to get this done, he and his team all deserve Nobel Peace Prizes. You got so many different layers of motivations, of revenge. You got different layers of elements of the deep state of the Russian government. Play cut 164.
This is the third meeting I've had with him. This last meeting lasted close to 5 hours, and it was a compelling meeting. And towards the end, we actually came up with, and I'm going to say finally, but what Putin's request is to have a permanent peace here. So beyond the ceasefire, we got an answer to that.
So let me compliment the Trump administration here, and they deserve a ton of credit. In the last week, they did two things that were categorically verboten or forbidden based on the D.C. manual of warmongering and neoconservative geopolitics. They sat down with the Iranians and they sat down with the Russians. Good on them. You always should talk to your adversaries, regardless of what you're going through. Always try to find out if there's a place for reconciliation, back way of channeling for prisoner swaps, whatever it might be. We finally got Putin's demands for permanent peace. Now, if I were to conjecture or speculate what they are, again, I have no inside information at all. This is just guessing based on public reports and knowing a little bit about this conflict. Vladimir Putin is going to probably want almost all the land of eastern Ukraine, buttressing up to probably near to Kiev. Putin is likely going to want a guarantee that Ukraine will never be part of NATO. He's going to want Crimea to be officially recognized as part of Russia, and probably many other contentions and demands. And then it's going to be on the Ukrainians to see whether the Ukrainians are willing to actually broker peace, to come to the table. It's very much an evolving situation. It is very, very difficult. I do not envy the Trump team at all. I do not envy the Trump team for having to negotiate this. And God bless Steve Witkoff for going into that circumstance. And both sides need to be willing to come to the table and broker peace. To cut a deal that is the better for humanity, because we're about to enter another summer killing season. We have to have a good baseline to start negotiating, which is this. We want peace. We want the war to end. We'll see who actually believes that.